Greetings, fellow South Africans. I'm Ayanda Dlodlo, Minister of Communications. Welcome to this week's edition of Government at Work, where we gain insight into government programs and events. Earlier this week, South Africans were faced with the brutal killing of 23 people in the Marikana informal settlement of Philippi in Cape Town. Government expresses its deepest condolences to the family of the victims and the Marikana community. The mass killing, a result of confrontations between gangs and community protection patrols, have sent shockwaves throughout our country. Government calls for calm and for the community to allow the police to do their jobs. We welcome the quick arrest of 4 people earlier in the week. The provincial police have stepped up their visibility and are supported by the National Intervention Unit, the Tactical Response Team, and Crime Intelligence. Moving further abroad, government, on behalf of the people of South Africa, extends its nation's condolences to the people of the United States of America following the horrific shooting that killed at least 59 people during a music festival in Las Vegas earlier this week. South Africa's consulate in Los Angeles is in contact with South Africans in the city and has confirmed that there are no South African victims involved. Moving to the Social Development Month, we mark this month to focus our nation's attention on the most vulnerable members of our society, such as the poor, older persons, the homeless, the orphaned, and people living with disabilities. The Department of Social Development will over the month highlight the many support programs available to vulnerable groups. One of the social services we are most proud of, and which also forms the cornerstone of our pro-poor policies, is social grants to 17 million beneficiaries. Continuing with Social Development Month, in the first week of the month, we honor older persons in our society as part of our Older Persons Week program. Older persons are an important sector of our society and play a critical role as guardians for orphaned and vulnerable children. Government calls on all South Africans, in particular young people, to respect and protect their grandparents and the elderly in their communities. We also recognize the role and sacrifices older persons have made in attaining freedom in our country. It is the duty of all fellow citizens to give extra care to our older persons and vulnerable groups. Moving to the country's transport sector, as this is also Transport Month, the Department of Transport will showcase our transport infrastructure projects, promote the use of public transport, and advance the country's road safety initiatives as part of Transport Month. The month-long program is fitting, being held under the theme, Together We Move South Africa Forward. Transport is the heartbeat of our economy, and government will continue to leverage the sector's critical role to advance economic development. Our investments in the transport sector are stimulating development and creating jobs as part of South Africa's 9-point plan. We must also ensure that our transport infrastructure benefits all South Africans and encourages road users to take responsibility and apply road safety as part of their daily lives. By working together, we can reduce carnage on our roads. On the trade front, government, through the Department of Trade and Industry, is opening new international markets to local businesses. The department is currently heading a trade and investment mission to Tunisia and Algeria to introduce products from South African companies to those 2 important North African markets. The sectors our local businesses are making inroads into are energy, construction, agriculture, agro-processing, the services sector, pharmaceuticals, clothing and textiles, manufacturing, and mining. Tunisia and Algeria are strategic partners to our country in North Africa, with Algeria being our largest export trading partner in that region. Continuing on the theme of opening doors to international trade, the Department of Trade and Industry has also arranged a Russian inward buying mission to the country to foster new trade opportunities for local black-owned winemakers. A group of Russian importers met with 14 black owners, 90% of whom are women, and a wine cooperative from the Eastern Cape. We are confident our efforts will open a new and lucrative market for black wine makers to export their wines. On the oceans economy, we are making strong inroads that tap into our economic potential. President Jacob Zuma will this week share further details on our successes during a visit to a tugboat building facility in Durban. Government is pleased to announce that since the start of the Oceans Economy Initiative, we have unlocked nearly 25 billion rand in investments and created over 6,617 jobs. We're also imparting critical skills by creating 462 apprenticeships in marine manufacturing and training 581 artisans. Staying on the ocean sector this month, South Africa will also take over as the chair of the Indian Ocean Rim Association for 2 years, during which it will host the meeting of the Indian Ocean Rim Association Council of Ministers. The Indian Ocean is central to the international trade, carrying half of the world's container ships, 1/3 of the world's bulk cargo traffic, and 2/3 of the world's oil shipment. Remaining on the international arena, President Jacob Zuma recently hosted his counterpart, President Robert Mugabe, for the second binational commission between South Africa and Zimbabwe in Pretoria. The annual meeting aims to strengthen bilateral cooperation and oversees the implementation of more than 40 agreements and memoranda of understanding in various fields between our two countries. In implementing these agreements, we can build greater socio-economic development, ensure joint prosperity and mutual benefits for our citizens. Through our partnerships and collaboration, we can work to help drive back poverty, unemployment and inequality in our region. As I draw to a conclusion, government would like to thank all South Africans for joining the country's Tourism Month celebrations during September. The Department of Tourism, in partnership with South African Tourism, wrapped up the month-long celebration last week. The highlight of the month was the public participation engagement held on Tourism Day at Kanyamazane Stadium in Mpumalanga under the theme, "We Do Tourism Sustainably." Government encourages all South Africans to support our tourism sector, which has the potential to stimulate South African economy, create jobs, encourage direct foreign investment, and grow our small and medium micro-enterprises. Thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of Government's Messaging. Together, we can move South Africa forward.